People, you're very welcome indeed. It's Marian Shanley live here on the Power Dreams, and you won't believe I'm here in studio with some very, very amazing people indeed. How you doing, lads?
How are you doing?
Hey!
Yes.
Shed for bikers. Well, you're not in a shed, but it's close enough. There's no flamboyance or glamorousness about being in a radio station, but what I will say is there's a wonderful big sense of big hearts in the room, and I really appreciate you coming, because you've all travelled a little bit. We've somebody from Bray, did I hear?
That's right.
That's a long way from here.
15 minutes.
Did you come on the bike? Or?
On the bike, yeah.
All right, you better introduce yourself, because we have a lot of people tuning in. Guys, if you want to find out what's going on, we're on live on Facebook as well. Go on to the Power Dreams Show page, and are we on Aaron's page?
Yeah.
Aaron, who we?
Shed for Bikers.
Shed for Bikers. We're actually on Shed for Bikers page as well. So how you doing? Hello, everybody. Right, tell everybody who you are and how did you get involved in this?
Well, my name's Dave Kerwin.
How are you, Dave?
All right, part of Shed for Bikers and Motorbike Ireland.
Cool.
I became part of the page because I used to run a page a couple of years ago, and Derek knew about it.
Yeah.
That I was admin on.
Cool.
And he was setting up the page. Shortly after he set it up, he contacted me and asked me would I join the page. Yeah, I'd love to join it.
Yeah.
Got into it, thought it was great. They asked me to become admin, help run the page.
Yeah.
And I've been there ever since, nearly 2 years now.
So was that me annoying you? You were the admin. I was sending all the messages to.
Well,
no.
I'm just there for comedic value. I'm the one that takes all the slagging.
Well, you need that, don't you? You have to have a sense of humour with it all.
I'm short of height and grumpy and ginger. You know?
He's the grumpy dwarf.
You should start some MMA stuff. We won't go there, will we, people?
No.
You know,
stay out of that.
You know, you're on the plus side there with all those
I just take the abuse and help Derek get what he needs.
So anyway, right, guys, we've Derek here beside us as well. Derek, your involvement. You started up Shed for Bikers.
Yeah.
Right. Give us a back story behind this. Like, who in their mind decides to take all this responsibility on, and why did you do it?
Well, it's not a responsibility.
Ooh,
I think,
slapped down.
I think anybody in the room here has the same passion as I do pertaining to motorcycling.
Yeah.
And the licensing laws and rules and regulations in Ireland only kind of were implemented in 2010. So it made a big change in the shake-up of the way people were trained for motorcycles, the way people's attitude towards motorcycles changed. So the shed was one of them things where we looked at a platform where we could portray that. So say basic maintenance, roadcraft, first aid. It's just a platform to portray that and give bikers a place to do that.
Yeah. Now, I'm a non-biker, but I have been on motorbikes and I've gone pillion. I hate it. I would sooner be riding the bike, to be quite honest, because I feel like it's something, maybe sometime I will, but my knowledge of bikes, and, you know, I said to my dad and my mum when I was about 16, I wanted a bike, and they said, yeah, that's grand, when are you moving out? So, you know, it's their worst fear when you mention motorbikes. So is safety a really big thing that people should put more focus on, really?
Well, yeah, like, it's not just the matter of jumping on a motorcycle and going down the road. You have to know the mechanics behind the motorcycle to make sure it's safe and roadworthy on the road. With the recent licensing laws and changes to the rules and regulations in pertaining to motorcycling, you have to be legally required or legally allowed to be on the road.
Yeah. Now, is it like a car? You have to have a mentor. You know the way you have to wear plates and stuff like that. And do you have to have somebody who's already qualified on a motorbike with you? Because
well, we have Tony Moore here beside me. He's with motorcycle training. So he's a qualified, approved ADI from the RSA. He actually won the Leading Lights Award there.
Woo! Round of applause there, people. Hey, brilliant. Well,
Tony is one of the aspects that we have to the shed that gives out the proper information. So
right. Well, we're going to talk to you, Tony, then as well. So for me as a non-starter, if I said to you, right, I want to learn how to ride a bike, it's not I just get on and I just
the process is quite straightforward. Basically, what you do is apply for a theory test at theorytest.ie. They will give you dates, times, locations, all that. And then based on your age, you do pass your theory test, make an appointment with your local NDLS office, same people as the car, National Driver Licensing Service. Then based on your age, you'll be issued the appropriate learner permit. If you're between 16 and haven't turned 18, it's an A1, which is a smaller bike. Okay.
Is that like the Vespas in Italy?
Yeah, scooters and 125s, basically.
But you can't go on a dual carriageway or anything like that.
You can go on a dual carriageway, but you can't go on a motorway.
Okay.
That's So, and then if you turn 18 and haven't turned 24, it's an A2, which is a restricted learner permit, which means you just can't go on my top of the range sports bike. So it stops a young guy buying a rocket ship, basically. Yeah. And if you're 24 years of age or older, you do direct access, and it's category A, and you can ride any bike you want once you've done your training. So the process is theory test. Make the appointment with the NDLS, get your learner permit, and then ring one of the schools, like myself, or our rider training.
So you're more motorcycles training instructor.
Yeah, motorcycle training instructor. So we run, we cover the Midlands. And then there's other schools then as well that they'll help out with the shed. I said, Aaron Ryder Training, Eric Dalton there, and Peter Bucky, and great support.
Give them a shout out. Hi guys, I hope you're tuning in
massive
here.
Support from the guys. Now see what's wrong is because, as I said, through 2010, there's so many changes in the laws and licensing regulations, restrictions since 2010. So you have I won't say the uneducated, but the people who were able to just get their provisional license without any training and go on the road. And now you have rules and regulations and courses and whatnot that you have to pass. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And with the Shed for Bikers, that's a platform for the likes of Tony Moore from Motorcycle Training and Eric Dalton and Peter Bucky from Aaron Riding Training there. These guys spend as much time as they do working on the page, making sure that our members, who are called shedders and shedettes, by the way.
Hey, shout out to shedders and shedettes.
But they make sure that our shedders and shedettes are properly informed and legally know what they have to do to be on the road with the proper training. So it's invaluable. It's invaluable information across all aspects, like.
Right, and you have such a collective of people. Do bikers come in all shapes and sizes? Like, I mean, this is what my question. I often think, is it you have to have a certain personality to be a biker, or can anybody do this?
No, in my game especially, from Prince to a pauper and anyone in between.
Yeah.
And the amount of ladies getting into bikes is brilliant to see it.
Really?
We would have trained about 40 ladies last year on bikes, and it's a growing trend.
Is that just because it's in a leather outfit and they look good in it?
Could be, but the thing about it is the whole social scene around biking as well.
All right, well, tell me about that, because I know that you guys head off on weekends and travel and, junkets. And also you do a lot of charity work, which I want to talk about and support each other. So.
It's the community. See, you'll never see a biker stranded. You'll never see a biker kind of have to put out a plea for help. 9 times out of 10 bikers will help bikers. And that's portrayed in the Pay It Forward campaign that we have in the Shed. So the Pay It Forward campaign is a campaign that we started in Shed for Bikers, and it goes across everything: information, parts, help and assistance in relation to somebody knows how to fix somebody or knows how to fault find, they will do that. And it's all for free. So if I do a good turn for you, well then you do a good turn for the next person, and they do it. And so it's a brilliant community in the sense that it's all free. Everybody's helping everybody in that sense, like, and that's the community end of it. Like when you talk about community, it's not just jumping on the bike going for a spin. There's a whole community off bike that's built as well, like.
Okay, brilliant, because I do think that's very important that we all connect on something that's a common ground for us all. And especially in today's world, there's so much chaos and so much crazy stuff going on. It's lovely to hear something positive. Now beside me, Nick, how are you? Tell us about your involvement with it all as well. So we've First Bike Unseen.
First Bike Unseen. A very quick story just to outline the genesis of the course. So we go back about 9-10 years, and there was a group of motorcyclists travelling through Wales. There was an incident, and the paramedics and ambulance arrived some 40 minutes later. Unfortunately, the motorcyclist had been dead for half an hour, because nobody had given him any immediate care. So that's what First Bike Unseen is about. It's about, again, reflecting on what Derek has just been saying, it's about bikers helping bikers. Okay?
Okay.
The course is a one-day course. We start off with a little bit of theory, but it's mostly a practical session. We talk about and we practice accident scene safety. Okay? There's no point having a second family bereaved at a scene. Following that, there's a lot of practical emergency medical stuff, and it's all hands-on. Just a handful of skills, thoroughly well practiced.
Okay, and is this your background? Is you qualified, or is it something you upskilled in doing?
Right, the only way you can present this course is if you have a medical background. My partner in this is a fellow called Roger, and between us, we reckon we've got about 65 years in the healthcare business.
You're not that old.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
Oh, this biking lark, it's a youth serum.
It keeps you young. Yes, so my background and Roger's is of a medical background with a nursing and paramedic.
Super,
so,
yeah. Well, it's lovely to know that it's in safe hands. And I mean, this is something, guys, if you're tuning in and you're listening right now, we're talking about a collective, and I will call you that because united you have great power. And I do think that there's confusion over the way that you should manage your bike and look after yourself. It's not just, as I said earlier, a case of getting on the bike and taking off. And, you know, you have to know your stuff like everything else. I love what you're saying as well, because this is a matter of life and death.
It certainly can be. One thing, can we have a little round of applause, a drum roll and all that stuff? Yeah, there we go. We have trained in the last 8 years over 1,000 motorcyclists. And we're very proud of that. But what makes us even more proud is, and this is something Roger and I often will say during a class, all well and good, we've got a medical background and qualifications, etc. But we've trained over 1,000 people to do pretty much the same thing. Okay, and you do the mathematics. We now know that more than 50 motorcyclists have attended a crash and done a fantastic job.
Super.
And made a big difference to the injured biker.
Okay, so, and is there a pack you should be carrying anyway on your bike, like a med pack or anything, or you just say it's all hands-on when you're there, you just assess and get on and do what you can?
The whole course is aimed at having just very, very bare minimum equipment. Just a pair of gloves in case somebody's leaking the red stuff. Yeah. And that's pretty much all you're going to need, maybe, and that's about it. No. We don't go for great big packs of first aid kit lashed to the back of the thing. Okay. Because you're going to look a bit silly. Okay.
Well, I'm good at that, so it's all right. I don't mind. And besides you, Francois, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
How are you involved in all of this, this shed for bikers?
Well, just short in a nutshell, I used to work in a retail shop, and one day I just saw this biker, because I just love bikes. Okay. So this biker parked outside filling up his tank, and when he came in, started chatting with him, and it was actually Derek. And I actually went outside and talked a little bit longer, let the other staff tip away there, managing the fort there inside while I'm chatting outside. And he just speaking about how's he involved in this shit for bikers. You know, he introduced me in what's it all about, and I was very keen to find out more about it. And in the next following weekend, I just rocked up there at the shed and introduced myself, and they all welcomed me with open arms, you know, and I can't look back. I've learned a lot, you know, through the FPOS course that I've done there. There was an advanced course there the other day in February, so I've done both courses there. So yeah, there's a lot to be learned in shit for bikers, you know. It's all about bikers and standing out there for each other, you know.
Yeah. Well, also let's get to something really important now. I know people love animals and they love their dogs and they go mad about them, and I know people love their children and they go mad about them. But bikes, lads, seriously, you fall in love with your bike. It becomes almost a personality in your world, doesn't it? Because I know, and I've seen how it makes a massive difference to somebody's confidence, to their life, to their accessibility to other people as well. So what bikes have you got? That's really important. Let's talk about bikes for a minute as well.
Well, I've started off on a GN 125 years back in 2006. After that I had a Yamaha Thundercat, and recently I just sold their Suzuki RF 600. So unfortunately I'm without two wheels at the moment, but I'm in the process. In the next month or two I should have a lovely CB 900F there in the backyard.
Okay, all I know is the numbers are going up, so it's getting bigger. Am I right? Yeah? Bigger engine, bigger sizes as well. Are you looking at the moment for one?
I'm buying a friend's bike at the moment.
All right, okay.
He's got two bikes, and he wants to get rid of this bike, so
what's his name?
His name is Marius.
Marius, you're going to cut him a deal because he mentioned your name on air. Right, okay. Few whatevers, okay? What's your bike? Or do you have a bike, Nick?
I do have a bike. I'm embarrassed to say it's still in the shed.
Oh, is it the shed for bikers?
No. It will be if I get my way. It's an old 02 BMW F650 GS, so it's a nice big... it's not a big engine as such. It's not a super fast machine. It's supposed to be nice and simple and straightforward to maintain, but I'm afraid it's not something I'm good at. DIY, no.
All right, so anybody out there who's good at maintaining, get this man back on his bike. That's what it's all about, isn't it, really, as well?
Yeah.
You might need a little bit of help with it.
I need a lot of help.
He's giving so much to people to help them and saving lives as well. Surely some of you guys out there can just drop up to the shed next Saturday or Sunday and get this bike out and get this man some freedom as well, because it's all good giving, but it's nice to get some back as well. So come on, Derek, how about you? Where are you at?
CBR 929.
99, now that's the biggest number. We're going up in numbers there.
Look, it doesn't matter.
What's a CBR?
It's a Honda sports bike.
Okay. Are they wide or long or?
Well, it would be like the track bike.
All right, okay.
The track race.
So you can go off road and stuff on it?
No, that
you
would
don't.
Be
it's a scrambler or something.
A tour type bike, yeah.
Oh, is that all right?
They would be like the ones you see on the MotoGPs or that, you know.
All right, so you have your knees sticking out when you're going around the corner.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Well, not on the road, no.
No. We have Nick here to keep an eye on you anyway.
It doesn't matter about the CC, like.
Yeah.
We've members from all walks. From
or bikes,
CC, from all walks. It doesn't matter. What CC the bike or what level of experience they have.
Well, you would have loved the one I saw yesterday driving to Dublin, and it was a bicycle with an engine on it. And it was just like a lawnmower going by me, and I was like, what is happening? You do not want to see this.
I've seen them.
Yeah, so...
it's the more the merrier.
But you know, you probably love it. Do you maintain it? Do you spend time on your bike? Is this what
the maintenance and care and washing and cleaning? That's when you're going to notice a leaky pipe or a brake. A brake pipe broken or a tooth missing off your chain or your sprockets. So when you're cleaning, you kind of become a bit more connected with the bike. So that's when you see things gone wrong, you know.
But it's nice to have something that you absolutely love and adore and take care of. It's like a musician with an instrument. They have their favourite guitar. So it's not that different. I know people think bikers are obsessed with their bikes, but we all have something we love.
Absolutely.
And that's what drives us in life, and that's what passion is all about. Hey, you have to get up in the morning and get excited about something, even if it is coming into my show, lads, you know, on a Wednesday. How about yourself?
All right, have you got half an hour?
Well, actually, I do.
Okay, I have 26 of my own bikes.
All right, next.
The one I use for tuition is a GTR 1400. And that's, that carries panniers. It's got panniers on it because they carry radio equipment and paperwork and so on.
Oh, super. Do you have those big boxes?
The boxes on the back, panniers, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I've got a lot of old...
See, I'm learning.
Absolutely. I've got a lot of old vintage bikes as well. I like restoring bikes as well, you know. So,
right. So is yours a bike scrapyard?
No. It's all in the shed, so my wife, she doesn't.
I want to take a live phone call from some of the wives and partners here and see what the story is with these bikes all around the house.
What it is, like with the bikes, there's an old saying and it's true.
Yeah.
You drive a car because you have to. You ride a motorcycle because you want to.
Right?
Nobody forces anyone onto a motorcycle, do you know what I mean?
No.
And, it's a passion, it's a way of life. And, like, myself, I realise I'm one of the luckiest guys in the country. I get paid to do my passion.
Yeah, isn't it great? Were you always like that? Was that where you started? Like when you were a teen in school, or was there bikes around you?
No, and much like yourself, when I wanted to get into bikes when I was younger, my father said, you bring a bike around here, I'll smash it with a sledgehammer. But if it's in you, it's in you, do you know what I mean? So,
it's fear. They're afraid because they love their children. That's it.
There's a misconception out there about bikes.
Yeah.
People say to me the whole time, and to the guys in the shed, now, motorbikes are dangerous. No, they're not. Okay?
People are dangerous.
No, it's not. Motorbikes are not dangerous. They are, however, extremely unforgiving of arrogance, stupidity, and complacency.
Yes.
It will bite you. Okay.
What's dangerous is
lack of knowledge.
The lack of knowledge, the willingness to not self-critique, and the willingness to want to learn or better yourself. That's
and just because you can go fast on the bike doesn't mean you know how to handle a bike. Let's just put that out there as well.
Doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Because I see that with a lot of young fellas. They think, I'm a whiz kid on this bike, but it's pulling the throttle doesn't make you anyway knowledgeable about
But you see, the thing is, there's a huge difference between making it move and mastering it.
Okay.
My own background, I spent 22 years in the military. My next motorcycle instructor in the army as well.
Okay.
I retired from the army 12 years ago, and my passion is bikes, so I've been full-time with bikes.
Okay.
But it's like handing a weapon to a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old. They can take it up, cock it, and fire it. But to actually be a marksman on it, is so same with a motorcycle. Anybody can make it move. And unfortunately, you guys fall into the trap. They get landed on their mates' bike, out the bypass, open the throttle, in a straight line, up the slip road, down the far side, back up again. Oh, I can ride a bike.
Yeah.
Wrong. That's making it move. But to truly master a machine, and that's, the IBT, which was introduced in 2010, what that is now is basically, it's training someone how to handle a bike properly.
Great.
Do you know what I mean?
All right. And that's what you do.
Yeah, well, as we were saying earlier on there, we talked about the licensing laws and what bike you can get, but the IBT course itself then is broken down. It's a 2-day course, and you are legally required to complete the course. Okay? That's a big thing that a lot of people don't understand. As the law stands at the moment, you can buy a bike, you get your learning permit, you can buy a bike, you can insure the bike. Okay? However, if you don't have an IBT course done and an IBT cert on you, you're not insured.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of people confuse insurance and the law. So you are legally required to do 18 hours minimum for A2 and A. The course itself is broken down into modules. Module 1, if you come in the first day, or when you come in for the first day, should I say? That would be, all right. Module 1.
Am I doing this course?
Oh, absolutely.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, no.
Discount.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100% discount on this one.
So module 1 is 3 hours. That covers your protective equipment.
Okay.
It covers the basic safety checks on the bike and basic technical questions based on your driving test. That takes about 3 hours. Take a lunch break then, and then you do the first part of module 5, and that's getting you on the bike in a controlled area. So normally a training compound or car park that's sealed off. And there's get you moving on the bike.
And is this your own bike, or you have a bike?
Yeah, we supply school bikes, equipment, protective equipment, everything.
Brilliant.
Only you need is yourself and the learner permit.
So guys, if you're wondering what we're talking about here, it's basically an awareness about bikes, and it's, I would say, governed by a fantastic body here, and I'll call you a body because you are supplying something I think is badly needed in the country. It's Shed for Bikes. It's a brilliant way to connect with the people who know how to handle bikes, how to teach you, how to educate you, and also how to protect you if something happens as well, which is really vital. And not just that, it's also about having a passion for something that's outside of yourself. I do think the mental health of a lot of the teenagers and the younger people in this country right now deserve to have something other than themselves to focus on. Bikes are great if it's done in the right way, and I think that's the key behind this as well. And we're going to talk some more about this, but we do want to go over to you, John, and talk to you about your bike. Do you have a bike?
Marian.
Oh, is it Dave?
Dave,
Dave, sorry. Who's John? Get out, John.
Got him wrong.
All right. Sorry, Dave.
It's only ginger, doesn't matter.
But the bike I have at the moment now is not my own. It's a friend of mine. Mine is sort of in like a jigsaw puzzle down in shed at the moment,
Yeah.
I crashed it about 2 months ago, so...
Are you alright?
I'm not bothering me.
Did he do your course?
It's a great story, and I like to tell this one. Like,
Tell this one, yeah.
So, Dave was taken off at a junction in Bray, and a pedestrian actually ran into the side of him and pushed, because he was already moving, he'd actually pushed him into the path of an oncoming vehicle, which he ended up doing extensive damage to his own motorcycle and the car. We at the Shed, because he's on the team and the amount of work he does for us, I then contacted him and said that we were going to do a kind of not a charity, but something different in relation to saying, like, there's loads of people around the country that have the parts and the knowledge and whatnot to just in their own shed. So we put out a plea for the parts, and within 48 hours we got all the parts. Some of the parts came from City Spares. The plastics are actually down in Precision Customs in Longford with Raphael. They're actually getting painted now as we speak, and all the parts went within 48 hours. Like, it was amazing.
Brilliant.
So we're hoping to have Dave's personal bike back on the road.
Are you good at jigsaw puzzles?
Look, as anybody tell you, it's easy when you know how.
Well, isn't it experience as well? Because so many things happen. You learn. It's like a car. You learn the bits and pieces to kind of as you go along. Is there a course you can do, a maintenance course as well?
Yeah, well, that's we have an actual motorcycle maintenance course coming on with Derek Mooney. He's 45 years in the trade, he worked over in the UK and all. He's very knowledgeable, like, in relation to the maintenance of motorcycles, and he's willing to come down, give up his own time to do a 10-hour maintenance course, which will teach people, like, look, if you know how things work, well then you'll know when they're not working or not working correctly. So that's the idea behind it.
It's all about knowledge, isn't it? And giving people the tools that they can make a difference and also enjoy the process, because the last thing you want is constantly stuff breaking or not being able to manage it and then always going for help. I think what you did is absolutely brilliant. Were you happy with how the lads came on board?
I'd be happy when I get back. It's been a while now, but no, Derek knows what he's doing. He has most of the work done on the bike at the moment. As I said, Raphael from Precision Customs, he has the plastics.
Hiya, Raphael. That's really great work. Fair dues to you. And anybody else you want to give a plug to, lads, as well?
I have a big list. But
have you? Well, do you know what I'm going to do? We're going to go to some music now. I think we're going to play a nice tune. It's appropriate for today. It's called Born to be Wild. And we come right back and we'll mention some of these people that helped. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Gilbert O'Sullivan, and I love the Power of Dreams show.
Dublin South FM.
Everything's fine on 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Oh, will you look at them?
Here we go. I was just saying to the lads they should give me a shout when they have events coming on, because I do think what they're doing is fantastic, and the connectedness here, and also it's a network of people that really make a difference. Okay, I heard some fantastic news here as well. Guys, you have taken on board a true talent who's a new racer called Stuart Heston, and I'd like to hear a little bit more about that as well, because I think that's brilliant, and it's exciting as well, to be fair, because it's a whole other kind of racing, isn't it? It's not something you bring to the roads.
Well, like Stuart, he contacted us. He was only getting into biking or racing. He drives a bike himself, but he never got into the track racing or that,
Yeah.
So we were using him as a blog to give that sort of information out to our members. So other members or anybody who wanted to get into racing would know what was required or what information they needed, what they had to do to get on.
So he's your front man, really?
Yeah.
Is he? He's the superstar in the bike world.
The 7th of April, I think, was the first time he raced with the Shed for Bikers colour on the track in
Electric
Modello.
yellow and green, is it? And white.
Yeah. With our logo and Shed for Bikers on the side. Now we get great support from members in relation to parts and sponsorship towards Stuart. City Spares have been fantastic with giving out servicing kits and bits and bobs and that, so that's one of the projects we've taken on in relation to that. Kells Road Racing, then Dermot and Leone down there have been absolutely fantastic.
Hi Dermot, Leone. Yeah.
They have us in the paddocks at their races on the 15th and 16th of June.
Okay, because I'm going to pull up here some details you have as well, because you've a lot of stuff coming up now where you're going to be showing up, guys, so you can check them out, and including your members who haven't a clue what's going on and you need to know the dates to be there to show support. Right, we're looking at Clonagales.
Yeah, Clonagale, I'm a club member myself, and
that's the 4th of May.
No, open invitation.
The rallies. When you say rallies, is this where 1 million people descend on bikes?
Yeah, and normally to the field, and a good time is had by all.
There's a bit of banter and music.
Yeah. It's like a mini bike festival, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But again, the Shed for Bikers, I mean, apart from having the actual rally itself and a good time and listen to music, we support good charities as well, Pieta House, and but again, the Shed for Bikers, they have a stall there, again, giving out information.
Super.
It's
so you'll have leaflets and stuff and
everything.
It's
all community. It's all community, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what it's, and the biking community itself, second to none, I'm blown away,
you don't like it at all, do you, really?
No.
It's a whole different world. Listen, I'm going to read these out because I do think if you know these dates it'd be important, right? So Clonagale on the 4th of May, the VJMC Leinster, that's on the 5th.
That's in Swords, the VJMC Classic Bike Show.
Right, you can fill it in as it go on.
Yeah.
The Kells Road races on the 15th and 16th of June.
Yep.
Which we mentioned.
We're in the
Ballard Demons MCC 9th hole in the Road Rally.
Yeah, that's
on the 22nd and 23rd of June.
Carlo, yeah.
Carlo, okay, you're all over the place, lads.
Yeah.
The diesel or petrol or whatever is going to be ramping up here price-wise, but sure, you've got a network, haven't you? You know where to get the best stuff. Is there a bikers app for all this? That's the next one.
That's an idea,
Yeah.
It's an idea.
I want 10%, right? That's it. I said it. There's witnesses, right? Okay, Green Knights Ireland, that's the 28th and the 29th of June.
That's Westmead. That's a military connection as well.
There you go, sir.
Military as well.
Are you? I should have known. The beret. I knew I saw you off the telly. Special Forces, wasn't it?
The camel cream, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. There you go. East Coast Motorcycling Club, that's on the 7th and 8th of September. So we're into September already.
Yeah.
And then the Classic Bike Festival Ireland, that's the 3rd and 4th.
Ireland. The
Northern Ireland.
Of Joey Dunlop's memorabilia is going to be at that show. That's very exciting now.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Sounds exciting. Listen, I'm sure there's a lot more in between all these dates. I've only covered some of them, and obviously if you haven't heard this, just go back. I love hearing my echo here in the studio. The professional cameraman is working overtime here. Well done there, Aaron. We didn't give Aaron a shout out. How are you, Aaron?
Struggling,
he says. All right, so if it's gone a bit pear-shaped on Facebook, you know what's happening. It's Aaron.
Blame Aaron.
Yeah, we blame Aaron. But listen, right, the other thing as well is that I want to give a shout out. It's a bit of a moment I just want to take for any members and any people and family that I call them family because that's what you guys are, that you've lost along the way as well and on the roads. And I know that that's part of something that journeys with everybody along the way. You know, we talked about safety and we talked about awareness as well, but in general, it is something that is as safe as you make it, isn't it, really? Yeah. That's the key.
Absolutely.
And not to go in there with fear. I think fear can be the worst thing possible when you get on a bike. What were you like when you got on the bike, Francois, first time?
First time, I mean, like certain members were saying earlier, haven't had a background of bikes at all. Parents the same, so coffin on wheels, not allowed. Got married, had to choose between a wife and a bike, and I chose the wife. And after 16 years of marriage, I just said, right, I'm gonna get the bike. So I've got the bike then.
And did she encourage you at this stage?
No, she wanted me to buy a little moped, and I said rather buy a bicycle before I buy a moped. So we compromised. Good. So that's how I got into bikes, because I had a passion like Tony said earlier, sorry Tony. We all had a passion. If you have the passion, you're going to pursue it. And that was always my dream, that I want to have a bike. And I got there at the end. And yes, it was very scary in the beginning, you know. Fortunate for me, I went for driving lessons because I thought it was needed, you know. And back in the days, before 2010, you were required, if the bike was over a certain horsepower or kilowatt, you had to restrict the motorbike. And I was one of them that I had to restrict the bike to 25 kilowatt. And the laws and things have apparently changed now,
big time,
where they don't get restricted anymore, but as the individual, according to your age. Am I right, Tony? That's how it works nowadays. I would never look back. It was the best choice and decision I've made in my life, being on a bike. It just gives you the freedom. And you've mentioned earlier that you become a different person, and I can honestly open say, as a biker myself, I do become a different person once I put that helmet on my head.
I know you have to have confidence parking up on footpaths and everything, where your head, if you're a driver in a car, you're thinking I can't park there, but you guys can literally park anywhere with a motorbike. It's not a problem when you're stuck in traffic as well. But there is a certain amount of risk as well with spaces and being aware, spatial awareness. For you as a biker, Nick, what is it you love about it? What is the one thing that you say has you driven by it, apart from it is going to get on the road and all you people out there are going to put it together and get it up there?
Well, I'm going to make a small admission now. I hadn't been on a motorcycle for a number of years. And my last one was in 1972, Triumph Bonneville. Absolutely loved that machine. And I used to ride that around the place, and I never had any lessons, and I'm still alive today, but only by God's grace.
Well, that's a relief.
So things are different. So I must admit that when I first was thinking for a number of years, I'd like to get back on two wheels.
What stopped you?
What stopped me?
Yeah, what was there that you thought, not yet?
There's a good chance the wife's listening to this. No, actually, to be fair, she was very encouraging. She was very supportive. Wait till
she gets on the bike.
Yeah, that's the plan. I was a bit nervous about the whole idea, not the nervousness about riding a motorcycle, okay, but nervous about how other bikers might perceive a fella like me who've not been on a bike for a number of years.
Okay.
I got my machine, I got my training, I've been out there on the bike, and it doesn't matter who you are, what shape you are, what colour, creed, race, anything. Yeah. Bikers are bikers, and we help each other out. Yeah. And that's what gets to me. Yeah. That I think is absolutely beautiful. Sorry to say it, but you won't see that with people on four wheels.
No.
Okay? They are single-minded, they're going A to B, and that's all they care about.
There's no snobbery, is there?
There's no snobbery, none at all.
None at all. Marian, there we have a South African, a Polish, a Latvian, and we constantly get people in from all over the world, like Paraguay, Australia, UK, Canada, Texas. We've sent stickers.
And Mead.
Well, we've sent stickers to nearly the four corners of the world. And it's fantastic when we get pictures back then. Bob and Linda in Texas there done a run for Gone But Not Forgotten bikers over in Texas, and 930 motorcycles that showed up at that event, and we had our shedders and
I hope they had a big garden
with our Shed for Bikers stickers on it, like, so it was fantastic, like, so they, like the community of that biker spirit, it stems no matter where you go in the world, and it's just great to have it in one little fantastic
See, that's location. The one thing you have such a big focus on is the spirit, isn't it? And it keeps you going. So does this take away a lot of stress when you get on the bike? Does it change? Because I know if I do a run or I do some sports, I have a completely different mindset after I'm finished doing that. Is a bike like that for you?
Yeah, but part of the training, I mean, going back to the IBT, we teach roadcraft, you know, and this is how to put the corners together, you know, and well, we say, like, concentration is meditation. When you're in the zone and you're riding your bike and it's a nice sunny day, just cruising through the bends, you know, there's not any kind of speed involved. You know, the sense of freedom and the when you truly master your machine, that puts a smile on your face.
Are you at that place now? Park the business side of it and the trainer as an individual, Tony, as you. Does this fulfill you as a human being when you get up on your bike?
Absolutely.
Are you like a kid when you get off it?
Yeah. Look,
even before you get on it?
Yeah, but absolutely. I mean,
isn't that important though? That we have something that gets us going and makes us feel, you know, this is great.
I'd hate to get the wooden overcoat and, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you're certainly doing it, so wouldn't worry about that.
But that's it. I mean, you know, as I said before, you know, I do realise, and a few trainers like me, we realise that we are the luckiest guys in the country. Yeah. You get paid for your passion. I mean,
that's a great job. You're making them all jealous here. Listen, you better be not getting too well paid for your passion.
But
all right.
It's not a job. You know what I mean? It is a passion.
And do you train people in who could do this all over the country?
Yeah, I said there's a network of instructors. Like I said, you have Aaron Ryder training there, Eric and Peter. Yeah. Brian McGonigal, motorcycle safety .ie. Ger Kinsley is down in Athboy. Motorcycle skills. And we all network together. Yeah. And all the guys.
But there's a vast amount of instructors on Shed for Bikers, and the information is always filtered through. So that's our main focus.
So you vet everybody coming in as well.
No, the information is the proper information.
That's your job.
Correct.
Well, it's part of my.
I'm giving you responsibility here.
Do it also well.
But listen, what is it gets you about the bike that's so important? Now, you literally, you could have been the person that got hit by that vehicle. If that person had chosen you instead of the bike, you would have been in bits on the ground. You were that close, by the sounds of it. Yes, right. So the bike saved your life, basically. So we have to get it back going again, right? But you know, what is it about the experience of being on a bike that does it for you?
The freedom you have, like, you know,
you can just get up and go.
Yeah, like I'm riding 30 odd years now. Right. You know. That's just the freedom you have, the camaraderie between bikers. Now, you never see a biker wouldn't leave another biker on the side of the road. Yeah. You see another biker stopped on the side of the road. He mightn't be broken down, could have been a cigarette or something. But you still stop to check to see how. And no matter what's going on in your life, you're having, you know, you just get out with the weekend, weather like it is today, you know, everything just goes out of my head.
But it breaks all language barriers. Like if you see a bike there and you pull up on yours, it doesn't matter, as Nick said, where they're from, what colour their skin are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're a biker.
Because Honda's the same in any language, isn't it?
There is only Honda.
Yeah, there is only Honda. Yeah.
I'm getting the vibe from Honda. Has anybody got any old bikes? Like,
I've a couple of set of.
Have you a Harley? Because that's the one I know about.
No. A lot of bikes in the like.
Bill has a Harley.
Yeah.
Hiya, Bill. You can post up a picture of that later on the feed. Now we want to see your Harley.
No, it doesn't matter. Like there's all different styles, and that's the beauty about Shed for Bikers, because
but isn't it like music? You have different taste, but you like music in general. That's it.
But
I got it.
We remain neutral across all aspects. Like there's so many good things in biking, say like Blood Bikers, and then they have the racing, you'd have cross country, you'd have the people who do long distance travelling. And all that can come together in the Shed, even custom bike builders.
Wow.
So like we're neutral.
So it's all skill sets really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not just people who ride bikes.
It's just bikes.
Yeah. Right, so tell me about the charity work as well that you guys are doing, because you're helping out when, there's that many things going on, isn't there really?
Well, we try to attend as many charity events as we can every year. And then a couple of home internal ones we do would be like every year is the only cost we have is the insurance drive. Like, so that's the only time we'll ever ask our own members to put.
Where do you hold that? Is that in Dublin?
Well, it would be in the Shed last year now.
Okay.
We have
you a big shed?
No, it's not too big, but it's big enough. But we have a little tea making facility in it. Like at the end of the day, it's a shed. It's exactly.
It doesn't matter as long as you have a base and you have a big heart.
Exactly,
it really doesn't matter
it's a place for people to come. Like not necessarily. It's not all about the maintenance. It's a place for people to come on a weekend, drop in, have a cup of tea and a chat. They organise spins from there themselves. So after the cup of tea, they'd use it as a central meeting point.
Yeah.
We'd have tea and biscuits and coffee.
Oh, you said it. Tea and biscuits. I'm there.
But we run our own event days there as well, where like the last one we had Precision Customs down. We had Nick from F-Boss. They put up stalls giving out the proper information as well. We had Eric the Viking bike. That was the won the People's Choice in the RDS. Very lovely bike if you ever see it there, Marian.
Is it pink?
No, it's Timber Effect. It was painted by Shanley George Turner.
Somebody post a pic up on the feed.
Yeah,
if you know what he's talking about, I want to see it.
And then with the event before that, we had Tony down, we had Blood Bikes down, we had Nick down again from biker training. We had Aaron riding training. We had Principal Insurance. We had Kells Road Racing. So like there's more and more businesses getting involved in it. Like, and the businesses that are getting involved, I'll just go through them here now, is so we have like Daniel Cotter up in City Spares. He gives a discounts to our shedders and shedettes, the same as KC Motorcycles in Tullamore. Then I want to give a shout out to Infinity Motorcycles up in Belfast. They do a lot of gathering in the used equipment for our pay it forward. Which we take in the old gear, put it on display. If people necessarily can't afford that gear or mightn't have the money to purchase PPE, so we take in helmets, jackets, trousers, put them on display in the shed, and people can come along. If the motto is, if it fits, it's theirs. We'd rather see the PPE being used for its intended use rather than gathering dust.
It's like the family members handing it on to the other family members. I get it, yeah, that's nice.
We're trying to reduce people wearing the tracksuits and shorts when...
Do you not think that's insane though? I do see people on the bike and I think you have the big leathers up here and from here down there's a little tracksuit bottom. I think you don't want the skin on your legs.
You get a bike licence in Ireland at 16. Anybody from 16 to 21 is going to struggle to spend anywhere between 200 to 700 on PPE.
Okay, so guys, what we're saying here is if you're tuning in on the show and you're also looking on Chef for Bikers on Facebook, go live onto their page. There is a network here that can actually help you to fulfill your dream of actually riding a bike. There's safety, there's skills, there's knowledge, and there's a network of people who actually give a damn about what happens to you. It's not just a case of get on the bike and off you go. You have to have the tools in place that you can live the rest of your life healthily and safely. But also for any parents or people out there who have younger people maybe who genuinely can't afford this, or even people themselves who want to start this, I think this is a brilliant philosophy, is that you pay it forward. Also, there's a network of seconds, which is proper equipment that actually is functional and has no damage. And it's like the family. This is what's missing in society. Genuinely, I think it's missing is that network of the family feeling. And you guys are bringing it really back today. And I want to say well done to you. Because, there's so many people that have to move, have to live in different houses, different situations. And economically, we're all trying to pay the bills. But if we have something that links us together, which is kindness and compassion, it's going to make a massive difference. So well done to you guys. I'm going to say it again. This is called Shed for Bikers. You need to check it out. It's absolutely, I love what you're doing. I might even drop over for that tea and biscuits. God help you, And the lesson as well, and also the skills that are there. It'd be great to put a little video together of the amateur coming in.
we get you on the bike. We get you riding the bike.
You can come down to receive your goodie bag.
My goodie bag, So you missed that major advertising, window of opportunity gone there. I'm very disappointed. But look, I'm delighted you came in today. It's absolutely fantastic. We're going to go for a little ad break. Will you please share the message out there for all you shedders and sheddies?
Sheddettes.
Shed off. Okay. You're doing a great job. I know you're not here in the studio with us today, but I want to say fair dues to you. If you're doing anything like these guys are doing, and you're spreading the love and the compassion and also the support of people in this country, not just with bikes. This is all about uniting us together to fight the same causes, to be strong in ourselves, but not just that, to be united and to show a strong front. Fair dues to you. Right, we're going to go for a song. It's called by Barry J. Hughes. You're going to get a shot at this. I think it's great. Let's have a listen to this. Here we go. Here we go, live back in studio here with me are the boys from Shed for Bikers. You're not boys at all, you're men. 100%, I can tell you. If you can handle a bike, you can handle anything. That's the way to do it. Look, guys, I love the chat we've had so far, and I wish that we could do a lot more. Just will you share the news that there is a positive way forward? Because I think we've been reared with terror when it came to riding bikes. It's a legacy, I think, of parents worrying about. And to be fair, years ago, you got on a bike, you took off, and that was it. And the more speed you had, the better. And then you'd hear horror stories about Joey down the road and all the rest of it. So this is not what we want to happen anymore. The legislations legally have changed. There's new rules in place. You have to get certain certificates before you even get on a bike. Seriously, listen to me. And also you need to know what happens if you come across somebody in distress as well. And apart from anything else, you need to have a passion for it. Don't take it up and then suddenly drop it if it's not something you want to do. And then you need somebody who can back you all the way and have somebody who's on the ball the whole time and supporting a network, which is what Shed for Bikers is doing. There were so many other people probably we forgot to mention here to thank as well along the way for making this all possible, because it's a global network. It's not just Ireland anymore as well. Like you were saying, there's people from all around the world connected. And guys, why don't you just just put Shed for Bikers up as a hashtag on your page for today, or Twitter. Go online and please make sure that the news is spread about what these guys are doing, because I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't even think of the last guy's name as well. Barry J. Hughes. Sorry about that, but I know you love me anyway. Anyway, look guys, it's been fantastic having you in studio. Last note, I just want to give a little shout out, and just as a side note as well, because there's other people trying to make a difference. A lovely little lady came into a studio earlier on. Her name was Marian, and herself and her friend Grace are trying to make a positive difference in the community as well. The Alzheimer's Social Club is going to be set up here. It's in Dundrum Methodist Church, and it's going to start on Mondays, and it's fortnightly, and it's 2 from 4. Again, it's another person in this planet that wants to make a difference, and I suppose one of the things that is affecting a lot of our community is dementia, is Alzheimer's, and there are things that our families, and it's not just the person who is affected that's really has the knock-on effect, it's the carers and the loved ones around them as well. So I just want to say that if you want to find out more about that, you can ring Grace on 087 921 9097, and I'll do a little sting or something so that this is posted on the news as well, or even just run on the station to help you out there. And I love when people do positive stuff. Anything else people need to know about you guys? Are last word, a warning. Yes, okay. Well, I'm going to be grand with that one.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Woohoo!
Our shed is located in Kildangan, and anybody's more than welcome.
Where is Kildangan? Is that?
It's in Kildare.
In Kildare,
just right beside Monasterevin.
Okay.
We currently have 7 team members, and then just under 3,000 shedder and shedettes.
And they're all tuning in now. How you guys?
As I said, it's not just one person behind a shed community. Everybody puts what they get in.
But you know what, I want to just say congrats to you, and there's probably a few people thinking about this right now, because it takes a single person to start a momentum. It's like a domino effect. Fair dues to everybody else who's come on board, because it only takes one voice to create positive change and positive action in this country. And I want to say well done you. And I think that's absolutely fantastic what you created and the momentum. And not just that, to everybody here in studio today, because the collective is what is the key behind this, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like the cogs in the wheels of the bikes. If you lose one, you could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Is that the way it works?
We'd like to thank you for
my philosophy is.
You know.
Oh God, I'm delighted you came in studio.
Thank you, Marian.
You survived an hour with Marian, Shanley live on the Power Dreams. You know, that's a good thing. I will drop over.
On behalf of Shed for Bikers, all the shedders and shedettes, thanks for having us on the show and letting us voice what we were doing, you know.
Oh no, I'm delighted. And also there's going to be a little offer there, guys, if you can like the page as well. Nice offer here from Nick. What were you offering there?
Well, if you're the lucky winner, you'll have a free place on a FBOS course.
Brilliant. Cool. Guys, I think that's brilliant. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. So will you go and like the page Shed for Bikers, and also you can like mine as well if you want to. Just give 3,000 more voices. Yeah, well look, I'll spread the word as well. And you know, I genuinely mean it. We could sort a little visit out there, and you know what? If you like what you see now, we can live stream when I come over, and you can see the disaster that's going to ensue. God help you. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming into the Power Dreams show. Delighted to have you. Shed for Bikers, you've been brilliant. We're out.